Yeah, so the idea of Tales from the Loop, as you know, is that it's very much um, cut from a director's perspective, and all of the individual scenes take place in a sensible and largely linear, not necessarily back to back chronological. Um, and the idea being that the scenes that are set by each of the players, depending on the background of the characters, and set by me as the GM as well. So the first scene I'm going to give you is you're either, and you can decide, either your house or somebody else's house with a telly, and you're all sitting watching Saturday morning television, which we know in the 80s, by the time 1986 came along in the UK, was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch Mark Curry, Cheryl Baker, and Gary Davis present all manner of entertaining hijinks on the Saturday Picture Show? So there you are. You're watching it. And like I say, if you don't, you might be around at each other's houses. But you are there. So that's the scene that I'm going to set. Now I'll hand over to you guys to decide if you're in your own house or around at one of each other's. And I might interject with any NPCs that you suggest are going to be there as well. But yeah, so Saturday morning, it's the middle of July, and it's actually festival season. It's the height of the local festival. Now, generally speaking, the excitement that happens in the town of Jedburgh is of your own devising. You make your own adventures. But once a year, tradition has it that the adults and grown-ups, at least those that want to partake, jump onto the back of horses and do a ride out. And what this entails is going to the borders of the land that is protected by the families of that particular town, and they are responsible to ensure that the land has not been encroached by invaders from other countries, in this case England. And so the deal is that there are lots of people in town. It's quite busy in town. There are more people than usual, and there are also a lot more horses than usual. And the amount of drinking that is done has increased a lot more than usual as well. There are dignitaries, and there are parades, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And if you have a look at your Roll20 page, then you will see some pictures of 1986 and the events of the town. But this is very much a background. Now, hopefully you can see what's on this page, but let me know if you're just seeing a black page, and I will endeavour to fix that. I mean, it's Roll20. It's almost certainly that you've got a black page.
Oh, I can see it.
No, I can see it. Yeah,
excellent. Yeah.
So the Croy family photos from.
Now it's strange. It's strange that you mention family photographs, because the only reason I'm confident in being able to show these photographs is that they were taken by my father, and my father's publications. So he owns the copyright for these pictures, and therefore I'm showing them. And if anybody wants to claim otherwise, come at me. So yeah, these are photographs of the kind of things that have been going on for the past week in your town. Yeah, it's a very exciting time. It's about as exciting as it ever gets in town. But there are two parts of adults. They either get stuck in or they hate it. and they either hide away in their work, in their studies, and just pretend like it's not going on, or they're down there and they're standing at the sides, cheering on the horses, cheering on the riders, and cheering on the young Callant who is leading the charge. And yeah, so riders can take part in this from all around the country, and indeed they do. They descend upon. So it's a busy time in the town, and it's a 2-week festival as well. So we're right in the middle of it. It's the middle of July, and it's a Saturday, and yeah, you've got this going on. So yeah, at this point, that's the scene set. Generally, just what's happening. You're still in summer holidays, and it's a lovely, warm summer, as it has been. There is bubbling tarmac and ice cream to be had. So who's got a scene to set? Who's with who? Who's is anybody with anybody else? Let's start with you guys. If you think you're likely to be sharing your Saturday morning TV ritual, speak now.
I would say maybe. Oh, sorry.
No, you go right ahead, because I was just saying it to avoid silence. Go right ahead.
Maybe due to the busyness of everything going on, my parents are being extra fighty. So I would be at Caro's house, with my little sister.
Yes. Okay. So, your television, Caro, is in the sitting room?
Yeah. I think Caro would have had like a really kind of her little sister's horsey, so she would have been like up at some really ridiculous hour of the morning, like running around and woken Caro up. So she's probably not in a great mood, just from dealing with like younger siblings' enthusiasm. And then she would have been quite happy when Jamie showed up with her little sister. And I guess now she doesn't have to fight for her seat on the couch, like, because her little sister's kind of annoying like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got an older sister as well.
Yeah, I think she probably would have like gone out maybe. Because she'd be a teenager, so she's probably off trying to like, or not, like an older teenager, so she's probably off sneaking alcohol while the adults are all distracted or something like that.
Yeah, and you've got a bit of a mad aunt that lives in the basement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and So you're sitting there watching this television. What was your aunt doing at this time?
Probably just like banging around in the basement like she usually does. Sort of. I feel like having a bunch of extra people in town and all of the alcohol and merriment in general, whatever else is going on, has probably made her even more insane than she usually is.
Yeah. So you hear her just kind of every so often just shouting something loudly at the wall. And you just hear her voice rising up above Cheryl Breaker, proclaiming loudly that isn't it amazing that you can go to Butlins and ride down a very fast water chute. It's just it's great fun having a mad aunt in the basement. The television show goes on a bit, and you're watching. It's a segment on the show about how some new technology, how some of the robots that are coming over, and how some of the robots are using new kind of fuel cell. The new fuel cell. They're trying to explain it in typical Saturday morning. They're talking about it in general terms, and they're asking somebody about what it means. And this looks like it could be the professor or the creator of this thing, and he holds it up very excitedly, and he says, "Well, with one of these things, You could power a submarine and have it go from one side of the world to the other. You could use it for your washing machine, and it would power 75,000 loads of washing. And it kind of goes on a bit like that. It's got this large tube, and Cheryl asks, "Is it dangerous? Could anybody get hurt from it? What happens? What should parents be worried about? And remember, if you're at home, kids, don't be playing with one of these."
That's a question.
Yeah.
Is the mad Professor Alex's neighbour?
No. But I like it. I like
go
it.
with the vet robot things.
Yeah. Could well be one.
Yeah.
It's very much
Yeah.
someone. Yeah. But
Yeah, we live in
possibly.
a part of the country where the number of crackpots is high above the national average. Now there's alcohol and horses and crackpots.
Yeah. So
What could go wrong?
yeah. And you hear the aunt again. She's just shouting, "Where is it? Where is it? What's happened to it? Who's moved it? Who's been down here? Who's done this? Somebody's come down here and moved it." Oh, you hear kind of screaming just from under. And we'll leave it there with you guys just now. Are you together, Martin, Alex? Are you watching this together, or are you separate?
I was wondering, while all the adults are distracted, whether I should try and see if Martin would be interested in doing a heist or some kind of misdemeanor.
Oh,
I was thinking, like, what if we like foisted like some
Martin
like a video player or something for like
Yeah.
for, like one of those small little black and white TVs for like to spruce up the clubhouse.
Yeah. Well, the thing now, Martin.
Like it's something other thing where it's just like it's really cool for a kid's point of view, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's just really just
Yeah. Martin would be absolutely terrified at the prospect of committing a crime. However,
It's all right, Marty. You can be the patsy. You don't have to do anything.
he does look up to Alex, and so we'll probably go along with it on that basis. I think so. Yeah. So I guess we're together, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah. And there's a knock at your door.
Is it the policeman?
Which door? Actually, where are we?
We're in your house
We're in my house?
watching TV.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're planning the heist, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. My parents will be out probably working for the weekend. Like,
Yeah.
just disappeared.
So I
Yeah.
kind of envisage we've got this kind of crude drawing, this crude diagram
Yeah.
with whatever we're able to find, pencil crayons or wax crayons or whatever it is, the only thing
Yeah.
we could get.
Yeah.
We've got this drawn out, and as soon as we hear the knock on the door, we quickly roll it up.
Yeah, push under the sofa.
Okay.
I can imagine going to the door and just being like,
Yeah,
just
just
not like it's because I'm trying to think of how tall his parents would be for like where you'd have like a peephole and just like being a kid where you'd just be like, oh, look through the letter slot because it's probably like it's easier to go down to the letter slot than up to like the peephole.
I think the
it's
letter
like,
slot sounds
Do
more
this,
fun.
state your business.
Yeah.
It's you look through and you figure from what you can see that it's Big Stu from a couple doors up, one of your neighbour's sons. He's older than you. He's maybe like 17, something like that. A bit older, and you don't hang out with him or anything. You have no beef with this particular person, but he's knocked at the door.
Can I help you?
And he looks down through the letterbox. And he says, "My mum wanted me to give something for you to take to give to your dad. Is your dad then or I'll just leave it for you guys, or
All right.
well,
Well,
I
we'll
don't
take
matter,
it.
mate.
They're at work, so they won't be
Yeah.
back till later.
All right. Well, open the door then."
All right. Open the door. Like a.
Yeah, and
You know what is it? Did you know what it is? Or...
you get handed a Walter Wilson's bag, a plastic bag with a big W on it. It's the local supermarket. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of.
all right. Thanks.
Aye. And he walks away.
Hey, Big Stu.
He just walks down the path.
I love it. It's just like he's like, oh, that little shit's still there, and he just comes roaring back in. Just,
Said it. Never speak to me again. I'll kill you.
yeah.
He walks off quite happily, back to his house, and you've got a bag full of junk.
Yeah, I put it down in the middle of the lounge where we were playing the heist. Just like a little treasure bag, like a. What's in the bag?
I know it's
Hey.
For that.
Yeah. You look inside.
So
There's a
like
note.
puppy love letters or something.
There's a note on top of it. There's a bit of paper just on it, and it says, "Mr. Bateman, my son found these when he was out. I thought you should probably take a look." And then it's
Well, they
signed.
didn't specify which Mr. Bateman, so let's have a look.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Marty,
inside-
open the bag.
It's a poly bag, and it's bulging
so
at the
it-
sides.
Cautiously
Yeah.
open it and peek in over the top.
Yeah.
And inside this bag, there are a whole bunch of wires and cables and bits of metal. As far as you can see, just looking down at the top of it, it's like that box that you have where you've put cables that you think will be useful in the future, and it's just growing and growing. It's never been separated or tied up. It's just all cables jumbled up in a big knot, as far as you can tell looking down at the top of it.
I just do like a pretend dictaphone and be like, test subject is interacting with mysterious package. What do you see, Marty?
Lots of wires.
Why do you pull it out of the bag?
It's for
I
your
mean,
dad.
if it's just wires, it's gonna be boring.
You take it out of the bag. For your dad.
Ah, geez.
And as he lifts it out, I go, "Ah, really?"
I'll just whack
Bang.
it with it.
So this giant knot of cables
Yeah,
falls
let's test
out.
that no kids dying rule, shall we?
And there's a whole bunch of bits of whole bunch of metal in there, like little, nothing huge. It's fit inside a regular shopping bag. As you're looking through it, one thing catches your eye. It's not like the others. It's got a very particular shape, and it looks like it's not a cable. It's a sort of like a Pez dispenser or something like that. You're not sure exactly what it is, but it's about that size.
Marty, it's a replicator.
A what?
No,
Um,
some kind
Why
of
is that?
Pez dispenser with lots of cables for some reason.
Oh.
Does it operate? Does it have like a lever thing like a Pez dispenser does? I don't really know how those work.
Yeah, you pull it out, you grab it, and lift it out of the cable.
are the wires actually attached to it, or is
But
it?
there's various
just a phone
there's various bits of wires attached to bits of metal, and it's just all bits and it's crap as far as you can tell. But if you want to roll for it, then I could give you a bit more information. But
You know we'd be on a roll for it.
Comprehend?
We love rolling for things.
it always opens up.
Comprehend to try and figure out what we're looking at.
Go on then.
Can I assist this to give him a bonus die or whatever, an advantage, or I can't remember the terminal.
Yeah, if it turns out to be explosive, Marty's taking it outside.
Turns out to be explosive. Martin.
3 successes.
Alex's bed.
Oh wow. Okay.
Boom! Shows you who the real scientist is, Marty. This could have been you. This could have been you, Marty. But you didn't want to get involved in the experiment, Marty.
So just as you're looking there and you're about to say, "I know what this is," we'll cut back to
Yeah.
across the other side of town to Jamie
Did they see a bright flash and
and
Premise.
Caro. The other half of town
They
gone.
suddenly see each other's skeletons.
So, Caro, you're watching this, you're watching the telly, and some music comes on, and it's somebody that I don't know if you recognise, Paul Simon. Probably something that you wouldn't expect to normally see on a kids' television show, but he's got a new album coming out next month, and he's obviously being quite getting as much publicity as he can for this new album after he's had a bit of a tumultuous time of it in the 80s as Paul Simon, but now he's back and he's back on form, and his new album Graceland is coming out next month. And it's got a whole bunch of people playing drums, and it's a big production of this trumpets and singing and choir, and it's pretty upbeat kind of stuff. Something about calling you Al or bodyguards or something like that, and it's not your usual fare. But he's going to be back later on in the show for some more songs. And your aunt at that point pops up, and she looks around the door, and she says, "What are you listening to?"
Just this guy. He's Paul Simon. He's got an album coming out or something.
Oh, sounds good. All right, and then she walks over and sits right down next to you.
I kind of move closer to Jamie, away from her a little bit, like trying not to be obvious about it, but still also not really wanting this, crazy woman so close to me.
Yeah.
Jamie scooches as close to the edge as she can.
Yeah, you're pretty squashed up now on the couch. And then she looks at you all and doesn't say anything. She just looks at you. And she says, "Oh, is it finished? Right then." And she gets up and walks away again.
Maybe that's enough cartoons for them this morning, or enough TV. Should we, I don't know, go and see what the boys are up to?
I let out a big deep breath. Like, yeah, let's do that. Your aunt is a little weird.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
That's the same aunt that wanted to light the house on fire, right?
Yeah. Among other things. I think she was looking for that dog too at one point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's go look for the others.
Yeah. So you get a knock at you cut the scene there as you walk out, kind of grabbing your stuff and bringing your little sister, and then you walk in. So the next scene is a knock at the door while you two are arguing about whatever you're arguing about. Alex, at your house.
You're not gonna be brave enough to do the test subject thing. Could you at least go check the door, see who's, and don't just let them in. Make sure it's somebody isn't gonna bother us with our research.
Maybe you should put that stuff away. We don't know who's going to be at the door.
That's why you gotta check.
But if I don't know them,
Just have a look.
and so from Caro and Jamie's point of view, the flap of the letterbox just flips up.
I stick my head in.
Oh,
It's just-
What is it?
Marty's been disabled.
I'll just check one
Just
of my
can't get good help
conditions
these
boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, temporarily blinded.
I just opened the door to them.
Who is it?
What's up?
Hey!
Hey!
Alex
Come
has
in,
got
gang.
some weird stuff in a bag.
I can't believe
over there.
Marty just left you hanging.
Let's see. I want to see.
Yeah, we had this random shit that was dropped off earlier for my dad. We're trying to figure out what it is. What?
Instead of naughty word.
Random.
So with that roll, Alex, you've been able to get to the understanding of what some of this stuff. You see that there's something that looks like it's been smashed up, and there's like a carapace or something on the outside, and some wires that connect, and there's some circuit boards, and it could be like a robot head or something. It's just not, there's not enough of it there, but you've got 3 successes, and so you're able to do some things with your comprehend roll, having had 3 successes. Have you got any idea of the kind of how you'd like to spend those extra successes?
I was wondering if it looks like there's enough stuff here to like piece it back together, whatever it is. Because I guess we'd like laid it all out, like during the process. Like, does it look like this would build an entire thing?
It doesn't. What you are able to get from it with that extra information is that it looks very similar to something that Rune had found, and it looks very similar, in fact, to something that you have back at your base, at your hideout.
Oh, yes. The secret bit of tech that we've got stashed away there, haven't we? From session
I need a
0.
reminder.
Yeah. So Rune had brought something back one day, and you had no clue what it was, but it looked a little bit better than the one that you've got in your hand. But with that success, you're able to determine that it is in fact the same thing.
Oh, that's cool. So we got like a completed one we can use as like a reference.
Now that's that. You've got another success at this point. So let me just remind myself what the other.
Can he ask you some extra questions about it?
Yeah. Page.
The one that
Page.
Rune found, that doesn't work, or does it work?
Okay.
I
So
can't remember if that one did or not.
it doesn't work, but you notice with that success that actually there is a part of it that you have in this one that you don't have on the other. And in fact, the part that looks a bit like a Pez dispenser
Is the bit that's missing from...
looks like, it would slot into that hole that that's there. And you hadn't really kind of thought about it previously, but now that you're seeing this thing and seeing what it could be.
Just a reminder, how big was the thing that Rune had found, and what shape was it? Can you remember?
I don't know. No, I don't think it was ever talked about. So you tell me what we can make it up.
I wish I hadn't asked that question now. It's
Now
about the
you have
size
to
of
answer
a
it.
football,
Okay.
and that's a good old soccer ball.
Yeah.
And I think it is going to be mostly spherical
Okay.
with a flat base, and it's the base that the Pez dispenser thing kind of slots into.
All right. Nice.
And I think it even has like a ball. It has those kind of hexagonal panels around it, or whatever
Okay.
pentagonal. Can't remember which.
Yeah.
And on a few of those, at random intervals around it, you can see like a circuitry pattern on them.
Okay. All right, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got like an 80s battery-powered disco ball.
Yeah.
Oh, we
all
can
right.
use this on the thing back in the fire station. We can get it working. The ball thingy.
I mean,
So we just put everything, so just chuck everything else back into the bag and just sort of scoop out the little Pez dispenser thing.
yeah. So we're going to go do that instead of the other thing.
Other thing?
I'm
What
gonna need
other
a new
thing?
accomplice. We're gonna go see if we could like heist some like gear for the clubhouse while everyone else is distracted.
Oh,
Ooh.
Unfortunately, Patsy over here. or should we say, Little Mr. Snitch, gave the game away. But yeah, anyway,
Is
that's
that his
something
rapper name?
Yeah, he wishes. Become
I'll help if we do it later.
yeah. Well, we could probably take if we could smuggle it to like the plan to the clubhouse. At least then people won't stumble on it.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll put all the wires back in the bag with the little note attached to the bag, and then put the bag on like a chair in the lounge and kind of just leave it there while we go out.
Why did Big Stu think your dad would be interested in that?
I think his mum sent him with it.
Why did she think your dad would be interested in that?
I mean, we could ask.
Because it's
but
wires and stuff.
who knows?
Adults
Maybe
are
she
weird.
just found something weird and thought like, oh, he's a sciencey type, he'll be able to figure it out. Little did she know I figured it out first.
Yeah, so I grabbed the hidden plans from under the sofa or wherever we put them. Let's go.
Your team.
And to the sound to the sound of bagpipes and the marching band going through the center of the town, you hear the telltale signs of clippity-clop horses, and there's people gathered all the way down, quite close, not as far down as you are towards the water, but there's people in the center of the town, and they're all lining the streets. So there's clearly some horses that are going to be either coming in or going out, depending on how much you're following. Have you ditched your little sisters at this point?
Ooh.
Mine's off playing with the ponies anyway.
I'll send my sister with her sister.
Yeah. So they've gone into the town, into the crowds. They say bye, and they walk up to the busy
Be fine. Someone will take them home.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
So you're in this now. For those at home who haven't already picked up on this, the place that you have as your hideout is an old abandoned fire station. It's due for demolition at some point in the near future, but so far it hasn't happened. So I don't know. We've never really talked about that much. I think we've ascertained there's a fireman's pole, and there's a level along the top that looks out over the windows. But otherwise, it's glass on the floor, and it's totally shambolic and run down, and there's maybe even a hole in the roof at the back or something. So I mean, it really is. It's in a state. But where did you hide your stash, your secret stash?
I mean, it's going to be in a really lame place, isn't it? But we're going to consider it to be hidden.
Maybe
Imagine there's like an old sofa in there, and we've just like inside
Stick
the
it
bottom
behind
of it,
it.
like inside it, or just inside it under the cushions. Like we just cut out that layer of fabric that normally goes like over the hole.
nearly give ourselves tetanus every time we lean in there because there's like springs and
Yeah.
rusty springs and stuff.
Or when you forget that you've actually cut the bottom out of the sofa and you go to sit on.
So yeah, you gather around this thing, and you haul out this ball.
All right, so here goes. Hold on to your butt. And I'll try and like insert the thing and see what happens.
You insert this pez at the bottom, the flat part of the ball. You slot it in. One of the panels with circuitry begins to glow.
Oh, I was expecting something a bit more dramatic. Can I touch it?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when I push it? Anything?
Yeah.
Gotta buy him time. He's had some of that bloody licorice.
You had a thing stuck in the back of the arm.
So what happens at this point? You press this, and you get this sense. You know when it's really hot, then you see in the distance there's like almost a shimmer.
Oh yeah, the
heat haze on the pavement. It's a bit doesn't happen that often for me. I don't see it that often. I don't go outside and I live in Scotland, but it does happen. So you're aware of it, and it's like that, except all around you. And as you're looking at that, you're looking around. What you see now is you are standing in the same place with all of you there, but there are a few things that are different. The couch is split in you. The floor is bright clean. The noise
barely firemen wondering.
The noise that you hear is like an engine thrumming in the background.
Oh.
And there's still like one panel glowing on it.
Yep.
What happens if I push it again?
The shimmer disappears. And you're
Now it is
looking
back
at
to normal.
scabby couch, glass on the floor, smell of oil and dust and rats and all sorts. Whatever, I don't know. I mean, you could probably clean it out a little bit, right? But a little bit of glass never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Smashed on the floor.
Like a time travel telescope. Okay, a timerscope.
Time travel?
Chronoscope.
Was I the only one seeing it, or the other guy seeing it as well?
You were all seeing it. Yeah, you were all seeing it.
Yeah.
Oh, the place was so clean. It was great.
Yeah, this pointed to, like, I guess, where the fire engine would be. And try to push the button again.
So we have to
like,
go downstairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So that would be
you
the engine thrumming, I guess,
Yeah.
if it is a thing that...
Yeah.
and you go downstairs and you stand under the poles there, and there's old lockers at the back, and you press the button, and now the noise is deafening. The sound of this big diesel engine, and yeah, it's again, the floor is clean. It's smooth concrete. At the back of the room, it looks like a locker. Has got boots in it. There's a hanging jacket and coat, and next to it there's oxygen tanks.
Can we see the fire engine from where we
Yeah, and as you turn around and you look and you see a fire engine, Dennis
Whoa.
style fire engine.
Can I reach out and touch it?
Yeah, Marty, go
Fire
reach out
engine.
and touch it.
Can I feel it?
No, as you reach out, your hand just
Like
goes
a
right
hologram,
through it.
almost.
yeah.
Oh, that's a little disappointing.
At least
Maybe it
we're
needs
not
more juice
actually-
or a better setting.
I mean, there are other panels, right? Is it just the one that lights up? Yeah, there's nothing else.
The one that you touched. Yep.
Maybe we could try it in another location? Another area? Maybe that's what... Like, if it's...
I mean, we could have a look and see if there's somewhere that might have a date that we could... Like the newspaper shop. And then we
yeah.
could figure out like exactly how far back in time it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it might look a bit odd as carrying this thing into a.
Yeah, just
Jump.
put it in like a backpack and then try
Maybe
and keep it on the down low.
Maybe take the thing that you shoved
The
into it
battery.
out.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take it out. Can we take it out?
Yep. And when you take it out, it's just like it goes back to what it was like before. The way that it was when you had it hidden in the sofa.
Well, at least we know it's sort of like fairly straightforward to operate so far.
Yeah.
We could go back to one of our houses and try it.
Yeah, but giving you an idea of what time period it goes back to.
Yeah. Who's got like? Because I feel like most of us have recently immigrated here.
I think
Like-
maybe what if we went to just like a local news agent, because they'll have those like news boards out the front where they
Yeah.
just have like a quick look at one of those and just, I mean, because everyone's distracted, no one will really be around.
Yeah, there's a
Try and,
shop.
like,
There's a few smaller shops. You couldn't at the moment. The main high street is completely buzzing, and the shop as you walk out of your fire station, there's people just walking up the street to join the crowd. So there's obviously something about to kick off in the festival. So the main shops that would be there are
yeah.
you couldn't get close to them. You can barely get in them. That's very busy, but there are smaller shops around the town at different parts of town that you could get to. So no problem to do that. There's one actually. If you come out of your fire station, turn left past the B&B and leave both the health centre and the fire station behind. You've been to that shop before. It was the one that was closed when you were looking for Caro's, or no, Jamie's sister.
Yeah.
It's down by the high school.
Yeah.
Would we know roughly like when the fire station was abandoned? Like, is there any like notice of demolition or anything like that might have been put on it?
Yeah, there's been a notice of demolition on it for as long as you can ever remember.
Okay, but no, this was condemned on or anything like that. Okay.
I mean, you could have a role if you had thought that at some point you might have investigated that information, I guess. Let's see if you know that just from generally asking quietly about it, checking it's safe and all. Yeah, there you go. All right. So, yeah, what do you think? How it's probably been abandoned for maybe 10 years.
Okay.
And it's been ready for demolition for about 10 years. I mean, you figured that out at some point, so you know that already. So no
Just
problem.
quite some time back.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wonder if the news boards, you might be able to see like a news thing that might help us narrow down roughly what day it is.
Yeah.
So at least we know it's like at least 10 or 11 years ago, really. Or more. I wonder if there's any like major events that may have happened.
We could, I know. Why don't we go and stand outside the cinema? We can see what films are on the board.
That's smart.
Yeah, that might work, yeah.
All issue with that, the nearest cinema is 11 miles away in Kelso.
That's a pain. We can catch the bus.
Like an hour by bike.
Yeah, 11 miles by bike.
We could, I guess, go back to one of our houses and see if there's a TV or anything. But then I suppose that brings us back to, I don't think any of us were living in our houses.
Yeah.
The same house 10 years ago.
Maybe there will be like a newspaper or something in the house.
The library.
You could try the library.
Yeah.
It turns
Okay.
out the library is about 9 years ago.
So yeah, you're up to the library, and this is this old building, a lot of light streaming through the big atrium from the top, large windows covering it, and the old doors that you have to get up to some steps, but it's on such a steep hill that the steps all cut in. And so you walk up the steps to the door, you open up these old doors, and you walk into the library, and you're greeted with your friend Marty, your confidant, your associate, somebody you spent time with. Yeah, and she says, "Oh, hello. Had enough of the
That's
horses,
great.
have you?"
For a lifetime.
No big fan of horses, to be honest.
What can I get you for?
We're just browsing,
Browsing.
right? We're just browsing. Yeah, we're just looking. Is that okay?
All right, Marty. Yep. If you see anything, bring it here, and I'll stamp it for you.
Thanks,
She's
Mr.
about-
Craig.
She's about the only helpful person in the town, unless they're trying
And
to sell you
Marty's her
something.
favorite.
Yeah.
Of course.
Aww.
He has one friend.
Wow, we're like right here, you little douchebag.
Yeah, what about us?
He's always getting ragged on by bloody Alex.
That's just how Alex shows he
That's
cares.
fair criticism.
Yeah.
This place smells dry, and it smells like what you'd expect for a huge amount of musty old books to be placed. There's tiles on the ground, and it's in reasonable repair, and it's well ordered, and it's well. So, what are you looking for in this library?
Is there a section somewhere where they keep the day's newspapers, something like that?
Yeah, there's a reading area. Yeah, there's a small couches with wooden slats with bands over that you pick the newspapers out of.
Yeah. Now I don't know if Marty would know whether they would have been in the same place for the last 10 years.
Well,
But-
we won't know until we look.
That's right. We should stand
Just
in
fire
that
it up.
kind of area and see what happens when we plug the device.
And it's a
Yeah.
short circuit and we accidentally suck the library into a black hole.
No, not my library.
All the books are gone.
So, you're going to be doing this somewhat sneakily, right? You're not wanting to
Yeah.
be. You're not wanting to be too obvious about this. So yeah, go for it. Give me a sneak roll as you try and sort of make it like you're not being sneaky in a library where you're supposed to be quiet. But if you're too quiet, the librarian knows you're up to something.
I'll keep a lookout.
Cool.
Yeah, quick, run interference.
Everybody sneak in. Give me a sneak roll. Let's see if you're gonna
Oh dear.
cause a.
Of course not.
Oh dear.
There you go. So, Jamie, you got a success, and you're
Yeah.
keeping a lookout. Alex, you're about to take this thing and about to press the button, and Jamie, you see that the librarian, Mrs. Craig, she's starting to walk down with some books in her hand towards you.
I do love that the only person the librarian doesn't see is our lookout.
I'm going to run up and bump into her really violently.
Oh wow! Okay.
Go team!
Yeah. I bump into her with a baseball bat.
Okay, give me a move. Give me a move roll or a
Take out of these.
force or move, whatever you prefer. Whatever you think.
Oh no!
Oh, you don't have.
Yeah.
You don't have. You're not injured anymore, so you can remove that injury. You're all back to full
Oh,
Yeah.
full strength and health.
Yeah.
So roll that again. Yeah, re-roll that without your injury.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a one-sided fight because the rules say the kids can't die, but nothing about the adults.
Yeah. Especially old ladies.
Yeah. So she bumps into you. You bump into her, but she holds onto her books and she says, "Mind yourself, dear."
She's stern, is Mrs. Craig.
And she continues to walk down with the books towards you.
I'll quickly yell. I forgot that I needed to find a book for a project.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, you run back, do you? You guys, you see her coming.
Let's just take the thing out and just pack it back in the backpack and then disperse.
Yeah. So you variously disperse. Alex, you all kind of mingle into the library further, and Alex, you find yourself in an alcove room, and it's filled with all of the archived newspapers.
Hmm.
And Mrs. Craig, she's doing her thing. She's putting the books back, and she walks back round to our desk again. And she kind of looks around and sits down.
Did you say it was Alex that found himself in the alcove bit?
Yeah, Alex is in the alcove.
Oh, cool. Okay, in that case,
Yeah.
Once it's gone quiet, I'll try and do the fire it up. I have a quick sneak peek,
Yeah.
just enough to see what's on the other side of the picture.
Yeah, so the whole situation happens. You put the thing in, it lights up. You press the button, and the shimmer, and anybody who's looking around for where Alex is, you just see Alex standing there, but he's holding this thing. Alex, you see pretty much the same thing because it hasn't changed. It's obviously been done up in the time since you've got it, but what is interesting is you're looking along the scan of the rows, they stop. Rather than going all the way up to 1985, 1986, they stop back at 1976. So there's like the shelves are there, the magazine files that are there. They just go along to 1976 and they stop. But otherwise, the place is more or less the same. And you look out, and actually, you can see through the edge of this, and it's a strange effect on your eyes as you're looking out. You can see a difference in where it's almost as if there's a border to this, because it's quite a big library space. You look through it and you see a different light. You see, there's a mismatch somehow. Your brain just doesn't quite put it together, but there's clearly some sort of border at some point where this thing stops.
But it's fine. Like, with the dates in the boxes, is it like the same day or month, just 10 years earlier?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
86.
give me some sort of roll to see if you're able to make that calculate, or something just to sort of suggest that comprehend that you're looking at this.
Or, yeah, comprehend I'll do.
Yeah, you're not sure. You're not sure, but certainly it looks like you're 10 years back.
Yeah. Okay. I'll unplug it and then lift it back up again and go try and find the gang. Guys.
Did it work?
What'd you find out?
Well, it looks like it went up to like 1976. So I think it's like 10 years. I'm guessing maybe it's like just like 10 years before today. I don't know why. But who knows? It's like, why 10 years?
So now what?
I don't know. Did something
Should we
happen
go-
10 years? Did something happen 10 years ago?
Should we go to one of the events
Alright,
and
we
see
could-
what happens?
I mean, yeah, is it like 10 years to the day?
I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. Like, based on a guess, nothing, no actual info.
So, if we go outside where one of the parades or whatever's going on, and we
Yeah, we'll see what happened
should
10
see
years
the
ago.
same thing
But I
10
think
years
everyone
ago.
else will probably see it as well as anything.
Maybe there's something in like the newspaper thing. Like, if someone made this to go 10 years into the
Yeah,
past, maybe we could see if there's anything that happened 10 years ago in the
yeah,
papers.
that's what I was thinking. There might be a reason why it's like what was this designed to look at apart from just 10 years ago? Maybe. Was there a reason? Oh, we got the room here with all the boxes and stuff, so we could have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have to go back to 1976, the day, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you stand there, you go back to the alcove.
We're gonna solve the unsolved murder. That's what we're gonna do.
investigate.
And you push the thing back in, and that same ripple happens. And again, looking out across to the other side of the library, you all get this strange impression of there just being like an end to this, and it's just the light isn't matching, and the carpet doesn't match, and the shelves don't match. They're pretty much in the same place, but ever so slightly out of a centimeter that way or whatever, and the whole thing just looks a bit disjointed as you're looking out, and yeah, so difficult to resolve in your eyes, but you get the idea that there's an edge of it.
But given that this room, the room has all the boxes from after the time period through the machine, we could have a look and see what happened around this time.
If there was
an
event
10 years ago. Yeah, to see if there's something noteworthy that happened, maybe.
So you look at along the boxes, and you look at the edge, the last one, because it's the only one you can see. You can't touch anything. You can basically walk through the shelves if you want to. So yeah, you're looking at this, and right enough, you see that it's set to 10 years to the day. And there's talk about the festival, and the name of the callant at that time, because this is the local newspaper that you've got. And yeah, so it's 10 years to the day.
This is when they fired up the loop for the first time. I don't know how recent the loop is. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, whether you would even know that or not, but I think, yeah, the loop. Well, you would, because your parents did actually come to help with it, didn't they? So the Swedish loop was 1969. 1970 was the announcement of the alliance with Scandic countries, and the loop was finished in 71. So it's been around for a while
by that point. Okay.
Yeah. It's been around a while. And as you're looking at this, the without you taking out the thing, the image in this library, it just fades and the shimmer goes away. And what happens? It stops, and one of the sides opens, kind of pops out. One of the big sides pops out, and you're standing back in the library, and you've got this ball, and this hexagonal shape has popped out of one side, and then you see some buttons on it, and you see a slot that looks like something that you just saw on television. Kind of similar. Not exactly the same, but kind of similar.
Paul Simon?
Yeah.
I don't know. What?
There's a slot here for Paul Simon.
I know what you know.
Oh, we didn't see it on TV.
No. Caro and Jamie.
Caro and Jamie saw it on TV. Yeah.
Does that look like the battery thing that scientist was going on about, Jamie?
Yeah, I think so.
Close enough. Maybe a bit smaller. Slightly different colour, but yeah.
Maybe that was like some proto thing that he was working on. Like it's... I don't know, they said the battery thing would last a really long time.
What's the scoop?
There's like this battery thing that some scientist was working on or something. And it like does a ridiculous amount of washing if you use it to power your washing machine or something. I don't. My aunt was screaming. There was a lot going on this morning.
Or it is. But maybe it's related.
I think he
Like
said he
nuclear
could
batteries or something.
power a fly machine too.
Wait. You mean maybe that flying machine?
Oh, maybe.
Who is this guy? Maybe try and see if he's in town or somewhere else.
Well,
He
he
might
was
know.
on. He was on TV. That guy.
Yeah.
What
Is
show
he
was
here
he
for
on?
the event?
Yeah, anybody with anybody that wants to roll on some sort of robotics or anything related to tech, you can roll on that as well.
I think Caro would have just been really distracted by whatever her aunt was carrying on with, so I don't know that she would have been paying full attention to whatever the tech
Yeah.
stuff was at the time.
I'll do a tinker roll.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
At last.
yeah, Jamie, probably to I don't know if I want to say the surprise to the boys, but who kind of continue to be like the more nerdy, geeky ones. Your aunt works at the Loop, doesn't she?
yep.
So, yeah, you've seen things like this. Not as slimline or small, but you've seen things like this, and they're used throughout agriculture. They're used in farming machinery. They're used, but they're not as svelte as this. They don't look as. This looks like something a bit more shiny, a bit newer. But the ones that you've seen, they do exist. They're just slightly bulkier and slightly, a bit more ubiquitous in terms and less exciting. But they are batteries of sorts. So you look at this and you thinking to yourself, well, you've heard your aunt talk about this. You've heard your aunt talk about these mobile fuel cells that are used in some of the gravitron machines that can help to fly the smaller ones. Maybe your aunt would know something about this more specifically. But you reckon that you've seen your aunt talking to your mum about this in the past, about talking about some farmer that had one of these things, and that the farmer was trying to get his plough working, but he couldn't, and your aunt had been asked to go and have a look at it because she knew about this kind of stuff. You would kind of associate these things with some of the existing tech, just less shiny than the one you saw on telly, and certainly less shiny than the one that you have in your hand.
I mean, it's a lead, but those are crazy. Right?
No, it's the other ant that's crazy.
Oh, the
Yeah,
other one.
it's my
Alright.
aunt.
Too many ants. We need it trimmed down.
I mean, there's no rule to say that the adults can't die.
Yeah. Next
Maybe
episode
she
is just
has
gonna be like
some
some
like on her
Timberlone
house.
setup.
What was that?
Maybe she has some lying around her house.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Let's go find out.
yeah, okay. Right, so we cut the scene.
Travel montage.
Yeah, and you're standing outside your aunt's house. Where does she? Nice house, posh house. She works at the Loop. Is she high up? What's your aunt's kind of background on this?
Yeah, I'd say she's like in like a supervisory position,
Okay.
and lives in a pretty good house
Right. Is she by herself? Does she have family or?
by herself. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you're outside this nice house. The garden smells lovely. The flowers are in full bloom. There's a big grass lawn in front of it, and it's well tended because she pays somebody to tend it for her. And you walk up, and you don't see her car. She drives a Volvo, 540 or whatever it'd be at that time. Oh, I'm not sure. Something like that. One of these big chunky
One of the
Volvo
big
things.
estates.
Yeah. So she's supervisor, and she has to help tend to some of the sites around the town, around the valley, around the area. And one of her jobs is to give me another role. Let's see, what can we get? Anybody who's you can get in the house. The back door's open, so it's not a problem to get in the house. And she's not in because she's away somewhere doing something. So you're in this house, and it's a very nice house too. It's on par with Alex's house. Not quite as posh, not quite as well upholstered, but still very decent. A lot of space in it, quite modern. Couple of different levels, paintings on the wall. Big
She's
telly.
gotta have a workstation or something.
Aye. So you're in burgling your aunt's house, and
When you say it like that, it sounds really bad.
and there's a video.
We are pre-invited.
And this
There's a-
happens to be the heist that Alex
Yeah.
and Martin were planning all
Yeah.
along.
So there's a video recorder there on the television.
Yeah, it's like, how did we know perfectly how to get into this house? Like,
It's the 80s. So right. So the what's going to happen here is that I would like you all to make a roll, but the trouble that you'll get into if you don't is that you're going to trigger an alarm, which is going to frighten you because it's a kind of, but it's only going to be in her study or her office. It's the only part of it that's alarmed. So yeah, you're gonna take an effect if you fail this. Now, I think investigate, sneak. Who's wanting to go? You found a door. You're standing at the door. You think this is where your aunt's place is. It's towards the garage, the back of the house, and the side of the house, and you're looking at it. So who's going to open the door as you're standing there, walking around
I'll
your
go for
aunt's
it.
house?
we planned this, Marty. Gonna put on like his business beanie, do the war paint, just
I'll do it.
time for the heist.
Okay.
Okay, hold on, investigate.
Yeah. So Jamie's rolling and Alex is rolling. You're searching.
No
Oh,
dice. I didn't find
Okay.
any.
Jamie did, but it's 2.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Jamie's basically carrying us through this episode.
I think so. Yeah.
Jamie saved you. She knows what her aunt's like. She knows that her aunt is always paranoid, but you also know that she isn't. She's quite efficient, and you look around quickly and you find the switch that you're looking for, and you turn it off. Basically, it's not hid; it's behind a plant or something, or on the bookshelf or whatever. And you open the door, and inside is her workshop, and there are all manner of things in there. The whole place is. So you all pile into this workshop, and you're looking around the cupboards. There's glass cupboards with shelves with books. The whole place is lined. There's a big table in the middle of this room. On top of that, there are clamps and stands. Very technical. A lot of stuff going on. Looks like machinery in for repairs. She works in the field. in some cases, she works in a field, and it's actually there. So she does tend to not go all the way back to Shepa. She'll work from this place quite a lot. And so you're looking around. Everybody, give me another investigate roll, everybody, so that you can see who's going to find what in this place.
Only touch what you have to.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. Carol with 2 successes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all found the thing at the same time.
Yeah, you all turn around and go, I've got one! So that kind of works, but...
Her house is littered with batteries, like Jamie said.
Yeah, Carol, what do you want to do with your extra success? We'll go to that first.
Can I keep it? Is that? I'm sorry, I can't quite remember what we do with the extras.
You can get extra information for this.
That would be good.
All right, so I'm going to say that you all everybody finds a battery of some description, but Carol, you've got a keen eye for some reason. Maybe you took in more of what you were saying when your aunt was there.
She saw what was the thing.
Yeah.
She saw the actual device on TV, right? Whereas the rest of it.
Yeah. And you see what looks to be like the most modern one of these cells. It's not still as shiny as the one you saw on telly or the one that you have, but it's slightly smaller. You notice the shape's a bit different. And so you can tell that that's the one that will work with your machine, whereas the other ones wouldn't. So you all find the battery, but only that one works.
Okay. I think this one looks like it fits the best, and I hold up mine and to compare it to the one that we've got previously, that was.
Yeah, you hold it. So you hold them all out and you compare it to other ones that everybody else has found.
Yeah. And just so this looks like it should work.
I put the battery I found back down. Yeah. What we're gonna use it here in the house?
I mean, no one's around. So we just gotta, I don't know.
What if her aunt's comes back?
Then we scatter?
Yeah.
I'll stay behind to distract her.
Yeah. We need another stealthy lookout.
She would expect me coming into the house.
Or we could go back to the clubhouse, I guess, with all these extra batteries and things. Be somewhere we know we'll be uninterrupted.
Sounds good.
That might be better.
Alright. Just unbreak into the house and...
You walk.
Reset the alarm.
You walk backwards.
Yeah, I try to reverse my steps so that the alarm is back on.
Yeah.
Someone outside is just watching this group of kids literally walking backwards away from the town.
I also look on the ground by the door to make sure she didn't stick a piece of paper or something in there.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So I think you can. Yeah, you'll spot that. There's nothing such there. There's no other thing. It's just
hair
so you get
across the door frame.
a bit cell tape or something. Yeah. You are back in. You're back in your hideout in the fire station. You hear the brass band is marching down, boom, 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 with a drum, and then it's just a big noise, a big walking down. But yeah, you're out of the way, out of sight. You're in a big fire station, and you've got this football type thing.
And a battery to put in it.
See if we can turn it into a legitimate time machine.
Time travel!
Yeah, and my hand instinctively goes to the book that's sat in my pocket, which happens to be H.G. Wells' The Time Machine.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's like another one of your nudie mags.
which is my iconic item.
Yes.
Um,
So you insert. Who's doing the tinkering for this? Let's see if it works. I want to see who's gonna get this. There's no trouble in here. I'm just interested to see if you'll start a fight over who's doing it right.
You want to go for it, Mr. Time? Who is a tech person?
You.
Yeah, no, but I don't want to roll and roll 20. But if it blows up and kills us all, it's not my fault.
I'll back you up.
You could have stopped this at any time.
Oh, you're getting help from Jamie. You get an extra die.
For the best.
Can't retroactively add this, but do I just re-roll it?
Yeah, do a reroll and put a 1 in the bonus dice thing, I suppose.
Yeah. There we go.
Yay.
Okay. So it doesn't fit exactly. And with your more information, what I'll say is that it doesn't fit exactly. But you figure out that with some of the extra bits, that you can just kind of put in a couple of extra bits of metal and you kind of wedge it in to the right space so it makes the contact. So the extra information you get from that is how to make it work, basically. And how to make it work without making it look like you're otherwise got some hybrid Frankenstein type thing with bits stuck on the outside of it, which is what you would have done if you'd only had the one success. So you managed to get this thing fitting in neatly. And the panel closes, but as that panel closes, another panel, in fact, more than one other panel opens.
It's like some kind of Rubik's Cube machine.
Yeah, you've got like...
How many batteries does it need?
It doesn't... No, these ones aren't batteries.
Buttons.
There's buttons and displays.
Alright, well, if we turn it on with the button we used before, like, do the displays say anything?
Yeah, so when you put in, you put this key in to the bottom, and they come up, and you see one display says 10, the other one says 0, and the other one says 0, 0, 0, 0, whatever. 0, yeah, lots of zeros on that one.
Okay, so if I turn it off again, and then I push one of the... There's 2 new buttons, is it? Did you say? Or is it just more buttons?
On each of the panels, on each of the panels, yeah, let's say 2.
Because I imagine there'll be like a button that like increases or decreases the number.
Yeah, let's go with that. So you've got the buttons, one goes up the number, one goes down the number, and one of them is years, the other one is days, and the other one is hours, minutes, seconds.
I think that's just set the years and days. Like, when should we have a look? Any days you want to have a look at in particular, guys? I mean, we'll have to try and work out like
Yep, to the second. Or
arbitrary time units.
I don't know. I haven't been here very long. I'm not really sure what would be worth going back and seeing.
We could go back to when they turned the loop on.
Let's do that.
I wonder if I can go in. I wonder if I can go into the future.
Oh,
Ooh, that'd be cool.
we should try it.
You press the buttons.
Yeah.
It only goes to 0.
Oh,
Hmm.
Somewhat lackluster machine. Well, it half works. So no Morlocks or Eloys to worry about.
wait! If we go back in time, will we get back?
Well, I think it only shows us the past. We don't actually go into the past.
Oh,
I think.
let's see
But now
what
that it's got
happens when
more
we
juice.
turn the loop on.
Yeah.
I don't want to get stuck in the 70s.
Yeah.
Go back to June 24th, 1985.
What happens then?
I just looked down at my feet.
Carrie just
Like
wrapped
Marty's
an
like,
arm
I just want
around
to find out who gave me a wedgie. They got away before I could make them.
There's a reason why we call you Master Bateman behind your back.
Yeah, it's just like no, like that's like for like Marty because it's just like what happened. He's like, I want to know who did it. It turns out he knew Alex. He knew Alex like 6 months before he thought he did. Well, I can start with that date because we'll have to go past it to get to like any. Actually, but I mean, we can we can go to that date that Marty mentioned.
We have to go to the location though.
I would assume so because it just opens a portal, well, like a viewing lens, scope, screen, whatever.
Oh,
I mean, if this is something like personal, do you want to go to the exact moment, whatever it is, happened? Or do you just want to go to before it?
No. What he wants to do, he just wants to go back to the point where she left the house for that last time.
I mean, you could use it to... Well, can't remember what happened. She disappeared?
Yeah, she just never came back from... Yeah, she just never came back
if you were the
work
machine,
one day.
you could probably follow a track. Like, see where she went.
Oh, she went to work. We couldn't get in there.
but what if she didn't
we
make
can
it
make
to
sure.
work?
Yeah, we can make sure she went to work. Then you know whatever it is was inside there. Just
Okay.
try to sneak into the building. But one problem at a time. That's my other heist blueprint. You need to flip the current one over.
Yeah. Sure. So we go to the gate. We go to the gate.
Well, we can start with your house, like your door,
Okay.
to see what she does when she leaves your house.
All right then. So the next scene, I guess, is all of you assembled outside Marty's house, which is empty. And you key in a time, the June 24th, 9:85 at what, like 8:30 in the morning or something?
Yeah, something like that.
8:20. Yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I don't know, Marty remembered it wrong.
And you work out the time and you key that in. You're clever kids.
Are we?
Well, I mean, you can roll for it,
Okay.
but we're just going to be there for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. You
just
find
wonder
out
what
like,
evidence you've got for that.
every time you push the button, it goes up like 10 seconds.
And you slot
To
down.
do like
you
9
push-
years in 10-second increments. Just
You push these things down, and you press the key in, and the shimmer at the front door spreads out. But beyond that, you can see the garden is different. It's like there's half of a pine hedge, but it stops because it's been taken down since then, and you know it's just incongruent sort of connections of things.
Like you've got a tear in a book and you're looking through to the page behind it or something.
Yeah.
Like that, right?
And you've got the front door in front of you. Now, what happened that morning, Marty? What was the deal? What was going on with your parents at that time?
Well, they would have both left for work together because they both worked at that place. So you'll see them both like kind of come out together, and they're quite happily just a normal morning as they climb into the car. And then perhaps the dad forgets something. He rushes back inside and comes out, and they're both having a joke about it. Everything seems normal and fine, and everybody's happy. And then they just kind of car starts up and they just drive slowly off the driveway and down the road. We don't see that.
Yeah, the car.
They just drive out of scene, as it were.
Yeah. That's you. You've seen your mum again.
And he's in bits, I think. Yeah. At that point.
So I reckon that's probably a good opportunity for a break, just as we leave Marty kind of breaking up and upset and crying and just
I give
really.
hugs.
Yeah.
But what a way to just leave you there with your PTSD triggering.
Well.
So, Marty, what does your mum look like, by the way, when you see her?
Oh, she's an absolute minger.
Brutal.
No, I hadn't considered this.
The first time he's seen his mom in like a year and a bit or whatever. He's like, oh god.
Yeah.
Closure.
She's going to be dark hair and dark skinned like Martin, I think. I think his parents kind of hail from Portugal. So they kind of she's quite dark skinned with the very dark hair, and quite pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So she stands out. She's kind of obvious, and you watch this car drive away.
Yeah. I think I'm breaking down at this point. He remembers that morning really, really clearly. It's like one of the few things that he remembers about the whole thing. And maybe it does bring back, but that's a good point. That he probably couldn't actually remember what she actually looked like. I mean, he got the photos. That would have helped, but he's probably forgotten in all that time. And kind of seeing her there again, and that very, very morning, which is like hyper realized for him, he just loses it completely. Now, I would probably go so far as to say that this might actually put a condition on it, but
he's just so
he's going to be overwhelmed
distraught
with emotion, I think. Yeah.
Let me have a look and see, just to remind me of said conditions. Complications. Conditions. Wait, why am I always go to the PDF, completely forgetting I've got a very searchable compendium on Roll20. There we go. Suffering conditions. So we're skipping the roll on this because it's just such a profound event.
I think so.
I
mean, upset is the obvious one, I guess. But
yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Just immediately off the bat, you've just got that. The only other ones would be exhausted, I guess, but upset. I think is so. You're just. It's terrible, but your friends are there.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing thing for him, I suppose, as well. He's seeing her again after over a year, and so it's happy, sad.
Yeah. So how does this affect you then? Like going in your next interactions with your friends?
I think it's going to be that bigger thing for him right now that he probably has forgotten they're even there at this moment in time. And maybe it's when I think it takes him a few minutes after the car has kind of disappeared, and maybe the scene. Does the scene fade, or does it just stay there?
It depends. What does everybody think? What would the next scene be? Because it could go either way.
I mean, in terms of the machine, the way the machine was working.
Oh, yeah, the machine's still
earlier,
going.
It just kind of powered itself off almost, didn't it? And then
it's
pushed
still
the button
going.
and stopped. Yeah, because I think before in the library it probably just ran out of power or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if like Marty is like visibly having issues, then like I think we would turn it off.
Yeah.
I think
I'm going.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Caro and Jamie would probably go over and just hug him. You mentioned giving him a hug too previously, Jamie. So we just kind of like group hug around him.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, and then I would like to take out my guitar and try to play a calming song.
Hey.
As long as it's not against all odds, because that'll just set him off again.
Abort.
But I think this might be a charm roll.
Yeah.
To see if this placates or otherwise.
Since I'm using my iconic item, I add bonus.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, your guitar.
Whoa.
Okay, 2 successes. So
Yeah.
your intention was...
He's completely forgotten about his mum.
Yeah, your intention initially was to sort of just calm him down and bring him back to just sort of just be peaceful, and that definitely works. But then you've got a bonus effect, which you could have that if Marty's willing, of course, that I guess Marty will take continued solace from you and won't necessarily like it. He'll remember your friendship, and like if he does feel like he's going to get sad and maybe he'll be crying again because he remembers that happening, he wouldn't, because he believes you kind of that you're that you've got that kind of long lasting effect from it. Doesn't mean that you lose your condition. I mean,
no.
Yeah, you're still upset, but you're not going to visibly kind of start breaking down again afterwards if you're happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, one of his pride is resilience as well. So I think he will recover fairly quickly, I suppose. But
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, he's kind of there, kind of wiping the tears from his eyes and not from his nose or whatever. And he's aware suddenly again that his friends are around him and that Jamie's playing this song, and he just says, "I'm all right. I'm all right." Thanks.
No problem. So, should we try to follow?
Or should we just call it quits? Or you put yourself too much?
I think that's up to Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably thinks that maybe that is enough for now. He knows what happens after this. Or he thinks what happens after this.
Interesting. So that would be the end of that scene. And I am sensing that perhaps a bit of time will pass until the next scene occurs. unless anybody's got anything that they want to do immediately, or this day or next or whenever. Anybody got any ideas for the next scene?
Not off the top of my head.
No.
Not really.
No. I can imagine Martin probably not being very visible for the next few days, maybe, anyway.
We should try to see what happened when the loop was turned on.
Yeah,
We'd try it. Yeah.
but you could have a scene yourself if you wanted, Jamie, where that you're going back to get the device and go out on your own, or you could grab other people. Do you want other people in the scene with you?
Yes.
Just in case something goes wrong.
So,
I haven't seen Jamie
or-
for a few days. And then this 20-something-year-old walks into the fire station.
So what's the scene? Where are you when you try this? I'm gonna say it's a couple of days forward. Just because there seemed to be a bit of a pause there. From
Is there like a
Marty.
hill overlooking it we could maybe look through? Just get like a good view of the whole thing. Or do we want to get close?
Yeah, we should get as close as we can to the facility.
Okay.
Risky, but okay.
Yeah. All right then. So you have this discussion. You're in your fire station, and you all agree that you're going to try and get up and into the loop. And Marty, how are you at this when they're discussing? This is almost like back to the heist when it was being planned with Alex. You're kind of you're back in, but we're a few days hence.
Yeah, I think so. It's probably a bit quiet, but Martin's back.
If the loop was being turned on and stuff, that'd be a fairly big day for Scotland and the surrounding town. Would it have been the sort of thing that they would have had visiting politicians and stuff had come to be part of this? When there's a bridge opening, they will gather around and cut the ribbon or whatever. Would that have been something similar that happened?
Yeah, so it depends. This is interesting because they would have tested it first. They would have run some warm-up tests and such, so they would know it would work. But they wouldn't have ever actually have gone the full mile to get it switched on. With a bit of research that you are able to, you'll find out exactly when the date was, and you'll be able to program this thing to fit to get you back. So the scene then, if you're outside the loop, it's high up on the moors, way up and away from the houses, and there are patrols. There are roads patrolled with security officers, and there are fences around. It's not super military type secure, but you are aware of security being present at all times. So you really have to be careful. Now, how close do you want? You said a hill looking over it?
Well, I think Jamie wanted to try and get as close as we could.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start you off this scene then. You're cycling down the main road, which is quite a big road because it has to take deliveries and trucks and Gauss freighters. And you come to the first sign that says Shepa Estate, official business only, no through road. And it's fairly barren, and you can see the Bona Towers are around in this area. A huge hundreds of feet high, belching steam into the air. The cooling towers of the reactor. And yeah, so you're cycling down and you're 4 together. It's been a bit of a journey up. It doesn't take that long on your bike, but it's been a bit of a journey to get out and up the valley. And now you're along this big road. It's 2 carriages, but just you see a truck coming up behind you, and it honks as it passes you. And yeah, so you're there and you're cycling along, and you reckon that you're about maybe a mile out from the actual front gate and the security gates.
Is there like a woods or something that runs parallel to the fence?
Yeah, this far out, there is. Yeah, but you can go off road and maybe a little bit further down some fairly boggy land. There's a neck of forest that starts, and it's not much, but it kind of acts as a windbreak against the prevailing wind.
Let's go up that way.
Follow.
Yeah, let's
Ah.
go.
Okay. So let me just see if I have something I can show you. Actually, I've got a sneaking suspicion. Yeah, so you're walking along this path. It's a sheep path, or it's not a proper road or anything. And the smell of the moors isn't altogether unpleasant. It's quite fresh. You've got the cool air whipping around you. The path leads kind of down towards the fence, but it skirts around, always getting closer, like spiraling into the main center. But it gets you in a bit. But as you're approaching the forest, you see a raised concrete area with a metal grating on top of it. And on the other side of it, as you walk round it, there's a door.
Is it locked?
Yes, and on it there's a sign that says Shepa. Danger.
Authorized personnel only, or something.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Should we just try to get a good vantage point or try to break in?
I think vantage point.
Breaking in is probably not a great idea. But then again, what are we going to see from up here?
What are we gonna see if we get in there? Like, do we even know where the loop?
How would we even get out?
What do you think, Alex?
I don't know.
We could climb the
Have a
trees.
look yeah, we could have a look around and see if there's a way we can either hop over, or if maybe there's like a weak point we can like squeeze through. We'll hop over. Do an investigate.
Yeah, well, we're gonna So we're
Okay.
gonna anyway. Oh, road.
Never mind.
Yeah, so you're looking around for something to climb or to get
I
in,
was going
but-
to say, surely you would get an assist from us unless we're all searching individually.
I mean, we could all fail together, or we could fail individually.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems a bit weird as all rolling separately if we're all.
I don't know.
helping each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're walking down this path with this thing on your right against the fence and the forest on your left. And your intention is to you've keyed in the date, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me just share this to Discord as it happens. But yeah, so basically you are you're walking along this space, and you see that the trees don't ever come that close, and the fence isn't at this level, this far out. It's not a serious fence. It isn't been kept very well. It's on the outskirts. There are clearly bits where they've been burrowed under and dug under, and you could probably sneak through a fence at this point because you're still a reasonable distance out if you wanted to. But yeah, this idea of being able to get in, you don't see anything beyond that would allow you to actually break down and into the loop itself. That's probably not a great idea.
No, that would be maybe dangerous, right?
Anyway, way to find out.
So what are you going to do then? Do you power this thing up here?
Yeah, because I think we're just trying to have a look. See what happens.
Okay.
I mean,
So
Like, I think we don't need to be in a very specific place to do it. We just need to have a view of the loop.
yeah.
like, the towers. That's the only visible sign that of the loop, isn't it?
And
So we're gonna basically watch maybe a bit of steam. come
Yeah,
out.
but I don't know what we're going to see in this little fence-off area. Is there?
Yeah, so the bubble that you've got is pretty small. When you fire up this
Oh
machine
yeah,
again,
right. We're gonna see nothing.
and you've actually, what I think you would see is a few people sitting on on part of the wall,
All right.
and they're looking out. They're looking kind of in towards the center. And yeah, they're just sitting there with a cup of coffee and a flask, looking very kind of interested. There's a few other people, and occasionally you see people just walking across. So there's obviously people come up to get a view.
Are they all sitting there waiting for the world to end when a mini black hole forms in the loop or something? And
I mean, that
Yeah.
definitely didn't happen in real life.
And then there's a clap. They applaud. You don't know what at, but
Yeah.
they applaud and clap. So you see these people. They're clapping. They're talking to each other, and they're saying how disappointing it was, and they thought that there might be a black hole that appears and swallowed them up. And another person says, "Don't be stupid. These are the world's best scientists. There's no way that they would let this fail. This is the best day for Scotland. Absolutely fantastic. The town has, they're just sort of talking, they're arguing with each other about this. And again, a couple
you
of.
can actually hear all of them.
Oh, yeah, you can
It's not-
hear.
So
Yeah, you can hear what's going on
visual.
as well. Yeah, so you've got this.
Yeah. So
Grown-ups do love hearing themselves talk.
Yeah, so they're away. They're having a good old conversation. There's a couple. Every so often you see kids kind of running through, jumping up onto this bit that you see in front of you, and it looks in much better nick as well. It looks very new at this point. New brick, new kind of. There's no weeds around it. There's nothing, and the fence all looks quite shiny, like it's not long been put up. So it's all good. And you're standing there, and yeah, nothing transpires of any particular note at this point, but you get these you get these people just chatting away and saying how good it is.
I'm going to sit there and trying to figure out whether I recognise any of these people as they are now, whether we know them from town or something.
Yeah, it's quite weird because you're watching these people having this conversation, and you can actually go right up to them and almost pass in, like put your hand up to them, and your hand will just pass right through them. Yeah, they can't see you at all. You have no idea that you're watching them.
Yeah. Except that one guy on the left.
Yeah. He's creepy.
With the black hat. He's just watching
And the
you.
black eyes.
No eyes. I mean, I don't suppose we were expecting anything else, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how, like, what if we take that thing in there and it makes some sort of, like, reacts badly with the loop or something?
You are.
The thing is, if we can't find a way, like an easy way in and an easy way out, then
Well, what else should we try with it?
apparently we were old enough to buy a lottery ticket.
But we can only look back in time.
Yeah, that's the problem, yeah. I could buy last week's lottery ticket. Well, there must be some way we can use this to our advantage. Maybe you can find lost things. People have lost things, and we can use this to find out where they lost them.
Yeah, I think it would occur to you at this point as well that your lost thing could very well be the thing that you haven't talked about for a few days since Marty had a bit of an upset. There's one thing very much that you have lost and you don't know.
Dog from the first episode.
And you're right next to the place where it
happened.
potentially would have happened.
Yeah.
That's going to be Marty's call.
But you're quite used to not saying stuff about Marty's mum, all of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've always quite deliberately, it's been the elephant in the room, isn't it? It's the thing that you don't talk about. And all of a sudden now you're actually, you've seen her. You've seen it.
I mean, would we? It kind of depends.
Like,
where...
I think, given what happened last time, like, I don't think anyone's gonna like suggest it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's be Marty has to ask.
We are like
Marty has to want to do
it.
Yeah, I don't know that you're. Like Mark says, you are young.
Yeah, we don't
young
have
kids.
that kind of emotional maturity yet.
Yeah, but there's only so many group hugs we can do in a week. Do a cool down.
It's alright, we can leave you out. It's fine.
Alright, that's it. We're going to see how many conditions you can go through in the next 5 minutes.
I think we have to, at least.
We should try.
Well, there's a little,
Then
maybe.
let's go for it then.
So I would like to just put a nice scene in where you're sitting there and maybe you've climbed up on top of this concrete plinth and you're four of you are just sitting there quietly. And it's, again, a nice warm day. The flies are buzzing around and the clouds are in the sky, just little fluffy white clouds popping over the blue sky. And you're kind of kicking your heels and not saying anything. There's silence in the group, which is unusual, especially with Caro around. And you're all thinking it.
Yeah.
What specifically now that a bit about Kara being around?
Okay, and
Yeah.
then perhaps Martin is the one to suggest it then. As we just kind of sit in there and nobody's saying anything. Let's do it.
Do what? I'll just pass it over. Just like,
Let's try to find your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing is that Martin thinks, well, or he's been told, or some of the kids at school had basically been saying that she left because she didn't love him anymore.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to find out.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know how he would.
Well,
well, I mean,
Give
we
me
can just keep an eye out for like, does the car drive down the road towards the?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
We can backtrack it because yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna.
Like, do they drive into work? Would be the next logical one to check, I guess. Like the family car.
Yeah. And I suppose we set the time back to not long after they'd left the house.
Yeah, so like June 24th is about
Yeah.
8:30 or something.
8:45 or-
Yeah,
Yeah.
8:45, yeah.
And we see the car. I guess we're going to have to head out towards where the main gate would be,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so we would see
Yeah, at least
their
that
car
road. Yeah.
coming to the gate, and they're both still in it. They both seem to be chatting away in the car.
Mm-hmm.
They speak to the guard and show passes or whatever they have to do.
Mm.
And the barrier goes up, and they just drive through normally.
Mm. So at this point, there isn't a guard post right here because you're still at the outer limits of it. There's just some signs that kind of tell you to warn it. Are you going to try and get a bit closer in then, so you can get to that
what
point?
I thought that we'd have
okay.
to. I mean, if they're going to drive down the road
Yeah.
in this car, we wanted to see if they arrive. We're going to
Yeah.
have to see them go through the gate. So
Okay, so you're right up. So you're now like 100 meters away from this gate, and you walk right up to the gate. The security guard is sitting in the booth, and he's watching you as you approach.
Is it the same guard?
Well,
Ooh.
I think we're going to have to backtrack a little bit here, aren't we? Because the guard's here, and he doesn't want kids getting into the place, and he's surprised to see you, and he watches you. Yeah, you've got a bit of a conundrum here, I suspect. You're going to have to find some way to distract the guard so you can actually activate this thing without him being in the area of effect, I guess. Or at least not seeing you when you do activate it. So how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna get this situation? So you approach this guard. You've got the big barrier across, and it's down currently. And the guard's sitting in the booth, and he's looking out through the glass at you cycling down.
Yeah.
So that would be the scene. And you approach this booth outside Shepard.
Now, I think all of us have family members that work here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would this probably Joe? Would this guard actually know who we were?
Give a empathize roll.
Roll
And
over?
Can we use a luck point? Probably you can use those for.
Would it be
If you
contact?
fail a roll.
If you fail this, I think you're gonna. It's gonna be like one tick from this guy telling you to disappear before he comes out there and gives you a lap across the lug. Which would be an injury.
Ooh. Oh, it's the 80s. You're allowed to hit other people's kids.
Yep. Rent a cop. So empathize in this case. You're going to try and obviously say, my parent. Yeah, you're going to try and figure out if he's lying when he says he doesn't recognize you. I guess that's kind of what you're going for.
Yeah. I mean, is it Martin that has to make the roll, or is anybody else making the roll? Does it?
Well, it
matter?
depends who's going up. Who's going to try and activate the
I
thing?
mean, I could try. Well, I mean, I could try and do it. I mean, I'm probably gonna fail because it's roll 20.
I could
but
try too.
At least my parents are actually currently working. Yeah.
Yeah. And Martin,
got
I
one
think,
point
is
in
going to be
empathize.
activating the device, so he's probably not wanting to necessarily be obvious to.
Yeah, so you three go up, act as distraction, and you say, so you walk up and your parents say, he says, yes, what can I do for you? What are you doing here? Kids aren't allowed in the loop, in this facility.
We just wanted to see where our parents worked. We've heard about it, but we've never, actually been here. Sorry.
Right. Well, just, firstly, you're not allowed in here, and secondly, you're not allowed in here. So if you would just kindly turn round and leave and go back to the fence where it says authorized personnel only. Are you authorized?
Wait,
Yes.
I really need to talk to my aunt. Someone
say
broke
yes.
into her home workshop.
I kind of wish I had the bag with all the wires and stuff in it. Be like, oh, this is. I'm dropping this off my dad.
Listen, yes. I mean,
That could be a thing, right?
that could be a thing. It fits in your backpack. Because you had talked about getting close to the loop, so yeah, in your backpack you've got the bag of stuff.
And the old Pez dispenser there was in there before that we only were able to use before it ran out. Does that still
no.
need to be in the device? Because we changed
Yeah,
it after we ran.
that seems to be the key or something that activates it. Yeah, it's the battery that you
Ah.
switched. Okay, so we've got a bit of charm, and he says, "Look, kids are not allowed in the facility. It doesn't matter if your parents work here or your aunt, and I don't know you guys. So yeah,
I mean,
if
you
you want
could.
to empathise
How about
for
we have
that,
a
he
chat?
might know you.
Get to know each other, then we'll be friends, you know.
So what are you trying to do here to this guard? Are you trying to distract him? Are you trying to get on his nerves? Are you trying to get him out so he does chase you away? What's the deal?
I mean, it's really just Marty that needs to be able to see what happened, right? The rest of us
Yeah.
kind of
We're
could
just
be
buying
being
time.
decoys. Yeah.
I mean, if we can get on the guy's good side by that would be benefit, the ideal outcome. But I mean, if he's just gonna be a grumpy old sod and chase us, then we'll just three people, three different directions. Good luck.
Get her!
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking at you. He's going, well then, come on, turn tail.
Yeah, I'm happy to support with empathize or whatever we want to use.
Yeah, you can.
I know the other guys
Sure.
will be better at it than I am.
You could use empathize if you want to figure out if he's lying.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't know you. You could use charm if you want to try and get him round on your side. You
Is
could.
he he's behind the booth so I can't touch him?
No, he's up
What?
a little bit as well. He's up a little bit, looking down over you, and he's got the microphone in front of him and the controls.
Get him arrested.
Darn, I wanted to stomp on his foot.
You'd have to get him out to do that. Yeah.
Why just get your guitar out of your bag and just whack him on the fingers? Assault him with a musical weapon and then run off.
Charm him with your music.
Yeah.
Again.
Play him a song
Yeah.
to move him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try empathize and be like, listen, I really, really, really need you to call my aunt and get her to come here because somebody broke into her workshop.
Okay. Let's see the charm roll.
Oh,
Wow. We're going in.
Yeah.
thank you, roll 20.
Yeah. I'll go and fetch her myself. Leaving the post entirely unattended.
Hey.
Yeah. You look tired. You look like you're overdue for a break. I'll take the shift for the next hour or two. Go kick back and relax.
Don't worry, we got this.
So firstly, you succeed and he agrees to phone for you. And he asks you what your aunt's name is, and tries to get in touch with her. But your bonus effects can be he keeps believing you. You've formed a long-lasting relationship. He will take risks to help you. He will try to persuade others to believe you. He's frightened, confused, or impressed. Or he's infatuated. We've used infatuated previously, and I'm not quite sure that's appropriate. So we'll worry less about that one. You still have what's his name?
He wants to
Infatuated with you.
Maybe it's that kind of infatuation.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just friendly. How about that?
Yeah. So
You won him over.
So, yeah, he keeps believing you. Formed. So you've got 4. You can pick from 4. He's frightened, confused, or impressed. Either of those counts as 1. You will try to persuade others to believe you. So in this case, yeah, he'll be in your favor. He'll take risks to help you, and he will remember you the next time, I guess, that if you ever need. And he continues to believe you. He doesn't doubt you, no matter what kind of thing you spiel at this point.
That is one of those useful things where you never have to make this roll again, right?
It pretty much is. Yeah, that one. That is one.
Choices.
Yeah. So if you ever want to try and break into the loop, you'll never ever need to make that roll again.
Assuming
Yeah, I
he's
think he'll
unsafe.
continue to believe me.
Yeah, so he keeps believing you. So you can spiel anything at him at this point, and he'll believe you. In fact, you've got 3, so you have to just. What have I put there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kick off 2 of those ones and let me know what's remaining.
I think Jamie's got a future career as a spy.
Yeah.
Like with one small conversation, she's completely compromised their entire security system.
Okay, I'll take frightened, confused, or impressed.
Uh-huh.
And persuasion.
Okay, so you're gonna keep the top 3.
Yep.
So keeps believing you. Will remember you the next time, and will take risks to help you in this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the phone is picked up. The number is dialed. And yeah, he looks he looks at you and says, it's Ryan, right? That's your name. What's your aunt's name?
Maya.
Google random name generator. And
Maya something or other.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Jessica Brown.
That works.
Yeah. So you say that, yeah, Jessica Brown, and that's your mother's maiden name apparently. And he's
unless you aren't married.
I think we thought she was single.
Good point.
Have we? I don't. Have we already established that? Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we established she was single because like she had the.
Then
Yeah.
you're
Lived
absolutely
in-
correct, Croy. Yeah.
Oh, that was, why be good when you can be lucky? So yeah, he phones. He phones up. He does that thing. And he's having a conversation with somebody else before he speaks to your aunt. And he looks pretty distracted. He's making the call. He's talking to you guys. Marty, what are you up to?
Martin he's kind of, I think, probably sat down behind the barrier, so he's kind of out of sight.
Mm.
We've already got the right date and time punched in,
Mm.
so he's just going to hit the activate button.
Mm. And you know the range of it, so you know that it's not a big range, and you've sat in an appropriate place to not be there. And immediately you see cars pulling up where there aren't any. They just come into vision when they come up to the gate, and the gate opens and they hand the pass. And meanwhile, you don't see your friends because you're out of.
They're in the range of the.
They're out of the
device.
range.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
so that means you
they're
do
out
see
there,
them. You do see them
Yeah.
because they're standing there talking to the guard, and they're not in the effect. So you guys aren't getting this effect. You've kind of shifted yourself along, so
Right.
you're at the center of this, and you're watching. So maybe the left hand side of the car is cropped off a little bit, and the cars come in, and occasionally another car comes out, and this goes on for a couple of minutes, and then you see your dad driving, and you look and you see your mum in the passenger again. So this dark-haired lady, Portuguese descent, she looks up and you hear her voice, and she says, "Are they ready for have they got the transport sorted?" You don't hear the response, and then your dad says, "You don't have to do this, This isn't reasonable what they're asking you." And the barrier opens up.
Ooh.
And the car drives out of range, and just as that, you don't see your mum say this, but you can just kind of just make out her voice.
Yeah.
And she says, I think we both know that I have to. And the car drives out of range.
Ooh.
We have to go
Okay.
deep.
So when they're completely out of sight, I kind of switch the device off. And then I kind of stick my head around the side of the booth where the other three are kind of talking. Yeah, I guess we should be going now.
Maybe we could fast forward it to the end of the workday or something, see what happens.
Yeah, so you've got this security guard on side. He's got no problems. He doesn't mind you hanging around. He gives you each a Mars bar and a Twix from his supplies that he's got out there. And if you're hanging around,
I suppose that would be I hadn't considered that. So maybe Alex is right. Maybe we should.
I mean, we could periodically check in during the day and just see, if there's transport. I'm assuming you've told us about, what the conversation was.
I when we get out of earshot of the guard, I don't know if I'd want to say it. right there. I don't know if that would look sus. I don't know.
Mm.
Would he
Yeah.
care? He probably wouldn't
Well-
care, would he?
I suppose. No, just if we were like going to check throughout the day to see if anything left the facility.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's just you're watching traffic come and go during the day. The real traffic, your times traffic, and there's various vans and lorries and such. So you pick a bit of time. Give me some roll or calculate maybe. Whoever's operating the machine or working out what times you could use.
Is that Martin? I think it's Martin still, right?
Is that the right? Maybe not calculate. Yeah, calculate. The ability to know how the work. You've kind of got that already, I guess. You've already.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, I tell you what. Yeah, that's a good thing. Give me a calculate roll.
Yeah.
And maybe with that, if you succeed well, you can find that there's a kind of almost like a fast forward option. Let's say. So you could actually watch it on. You could actually watch a kind of scrim type thing if you succeed with 2 successes on a calculate.
Oh, this is tricksy. I've already got one condition. Calculate. Do I have to specify a look point before if I want to?
I don't think so. No, I think you can use the luck points whenever.
And what can I do with the look point? I can make a
I think you
failure into a success, right? Is that right? Am I making that up?
Success is required. This is buying effects. Luck. You can spend a luck point after a failed dice roll. It lets you re-roll without needing to push.
Oh, okay.
So you can
Okay.
also push as well.
Yeah. Can I use... so if I could use luck and if that fails, I can still push? Is that
Yep. Yep.
Okay, well, it goes nothing.
Okay.
Oh
Okay, I'm going to spend a luck point. They don't ever come back, do they, luck points?
After between adventures, yeah. I think so,
Yeah, at the end
Okay.
of the mystery.
the end
Yeah.
of the mystery, yeah.
In that case, I'm going to do this. Oh, you
no!
suck.
Oh no! Oh!
Anyway, that didn't work.
Yeah. So you're sitting there anyway, and you didn't find a time. You didn't manage to luck yourself into getting the time where you're.
Whatever happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, get something useful.
But you have understood something that you didn't understand before. So you spend all day out there just kind of jumping into various points, trying to figure out, did you see when did your dad leave? What did your mum leave and how did she get out? And you're sort of doing this, checking in this machine. And you're relatively out of sight anyway. You're ducked down something and behind, so you're not seen as you're trying to operate this, and you're calculating it. You're trying to do this as there's no car, so you've got the other guys on lookout, and they're saying, right, there's no cars coming, do it now, sort of thing. And you're trying to you spend the whole day just sort of doing this. But the guard is oblivious to it. He's sitting reading a book. And he's not worried about what you're doing. He seem to be waiting. Your aunt hasn't appeared yet, either. And it's maybe quite a bit later after multiple attempts from Marty to try and get this to work, and you're getting a bit frantic that your aunt eventually appears because the security guard did what you said.
Yeah.
And your aunt comes up. I think she's leaving early for a change, and she's come up finally, and you see her coming driving, and she pulls over at the side of the road in a lay-by, Yeah, there's a lay-by there, just at the side of the road, a bit further down, and she gets up and she motions you over.
Okay, I'll walk over.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
What are you doing all the way out here?
I wanted to let you know that someone broke into your lab at home.
Jamie? What do you mean?
Well, you see, I wanted to come say hi, and you weren't home, but the door was unlocked. And so I let myself in, and I had some snacks out of the cupboard.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah, of course that's all right. What did you see? Were you okay? Were you hurt?
Yeah, I'm okay. And then I'll wave for her to lean closer to me.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
when
be
you
like-
commented.
Listen, we're looking for Marty's mom. Could you help us?
Oh.
Yeah. Ow.
Oh. Okay.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, that needs. Give me. What's your relationship with your aunt? It's good. I mean, it is good, right? That's not. That's not a question. But how good is it?
I think pretty decent.
Yeah. So your parents fight. Your parents are arguing. They don't give you much time, and maybe your aunt is. She takes you in sometimes and chats with you when you get upset, and she takes you in and she talks to you and tells it's okay and that your parents love each other. Don't worry, they're not getting divorced. They're going to stay together. They're just stressed at work, and she gives you that whole talk, and so she's used to kind of giving you a little bit heart to heart. So give me take a roll on charm, but give yourself a bonus dice on that, just because your aunt is a bit of a she's taking care of you, and she takes you seriously.
Oh gosh, I'm scared.
Oh. Yeah, so she looks down and says, "Oh, it was such a shame." And look, let's go and speak to him.
Okay.
So Jamie's aunt.
As we walk past the guard booth, I'm gonna lean in and say to the guard, "By the way, my aunt totally has a crush on you."
Oh wow.
Yeah, she hears that, and she's like, "Jamie," and she just looks but she looks a bit embarrassed. Her cheeks go a bit red, and she just sort of mouths, "I'm sorry," to the guard.
The 4 successes earlier put Jamie on a power trip. You can't be stopped.
That's it.
Yeah. And the guard just gives her a winning smile. Yeah. So Jamie, you're approached by. Marty, you're approached by Jamie and her aunt, who you've seen around, I guess.
Yeah. I guess I switched the device off real quick when.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Miss Brown.
Marty. Jamie says that you've come to try to find out what happened with your mum. I don't know.
Yeah, Dad hasn't spoken about it. He won't tell me though. I need to find out for myself, you know?
Look, I can't really tell you very much. I don't really know what happened. I wasn't there. I didn't work with your mum. But I've heard a couple of things. I wanted to tell you rather than Jamie.
She didn't leave, did she?
We do things here at the Loop. Experiments that could change everything. That could change the way our world works for the better. Your mum knew that.
Can you bring my mum back?
And she just looks really sad at this point, and she shakes her head and says, "No, I don't think anybody can. Not even Alex's mum or dad." But you should speak to your dad. He should have told you. It's not right that I do. You don't need to hear it from me. You need to hear it from him.
Yeah. So I just dropped the device on the floor.
She looks at it.
And I wander over to my bike.
Oh.
And just pedal off down the road towards home.
Come on, guys, we gotta keep up.
Yeah, I'll go grab the machine and then.
Yeah, she looks at you. What have you found there?
That's just an old thing I'm tinkering with.
You're going to need to give me a roll to try and
I mean, it's true.
get away with that. Yeah.
I mean, it is something I found that's something old something I'm tinkering with.
I think a charm roll would go well here, just to try and get her to she's a bit emotional. She's seen how. Yeah,
This
I know.
is where we find out that Rune had actually broken into her house and stolen this.
I mean, I'm not going to succeed in a charm roll, but well, we'll see what happens. Did I really want to charm them? I was just like, this is just the thing. I'm going now. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's more just. Yeah. Okay.
No,
right.
charm didn't succeed. It was
right. I think what will happen then is something that we won't actually see, but it will explain something that will happen before the next episode. So yeah, that's okay. That's not of consequence. But yeah, so she looks at you and she's just like, just be careful what you're playing with.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm a highly trained professional.
Yeah, sure. Just look after your friend. She goes back to the car. Right. What's the next? Anybody got anything else they want to do? I think that scene's come to an end. Is there what's next on the? Where are we going next?
Have to hunt down Marty.
Yeah, make sure he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, so you catch up with him on the bike. So the scene is like he's stormed off. Give me a move roll, everybody. Let's see who's fastest.
No. We've already established that Martin's not very good at riding a bike as well.
Yeah. Go on, everybody give me a move roll. Oh, Jamie, streaking ahead.
This is a precursor to my D&D game. Tomorrow I'm gonna get bad rolls.
Nope.
Do you want me to make a move roll as well?
Yes, go on. I want to see it. Yeah.
And
Okay.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Must be going downhill.
Yeah, you are fueled by something. But Jamie, you can use one of your extra successes to catch up with them, and you've got another success on your move roll there as well. So I think that's you can catch up with it. You catch up with them first.
Okay.
And you can also impress somebody, or you can give success to somebody. You can impress, or you can give success to one of the others if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to spend them, you can do that.
I will encourage Alex to speed up.
Hey.
Yeah.
Faster.
So yeah, Alex and Jamie, you catch up first with Marty, who's streaking ahead.
I'll just get pulled along in the slipstream behind Jamie's bike. Not by choice, just the sheer vacuum of air.
Caught in the wake.
Yeah.
I don't think Martin is. He's not like racing to get away or anything like that. He's just cycling.
Yeah.
Almost aimlessly, I think.
Yeah. So the scene is that the other two catch up with you, and they cycle at either side of you, and you're cycling along. Carol's catching up in the background.
Just panting as she's like trying to cycle, but struggling to keep up.
We need to slow Marty down. Kick out the back of the back wheel of his bike.
No, you can talk to
that
him.
roll.
Yeah,
Marty, hit the
I
brake.
want you to make that roll.
Nah, I'm not gonna try with roll 20. Roll 20 is a failure machine.
Yeah, I mean, as they're kind of chasing up after him, I guess Martin will slow down and kind of stop. Allow them to catch up with him.
Yeah. So you're standing over your bikes.
Yeah.
You put your feet down, at least one.
Yeah.
And Carol catches up. And you're just on your bikes in the middle of the road, and you hear a honk as a big lorry comes down the road trying to get you out of the way.
Can't they see we're about to have an emotional moment here or something?
Not another one. Yeah, so I look up at them. I heard my dad say something about they shouldn't be expecting her to do something. Sounded like she was going on a trip, so I don't know. Maybe everybody's right.
Or maybe they just aren't trying hard enough to find her, or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
adults kind of suck.
It didn't say she was like gone. It just sounded like maybe they just aren't looking hard enough.
Yeah, I thought, if she was on a trip, maybe she'd be coming back, but I don't know, Jamie, the way your aunt was speaking. Guess she's not.
The truck crumbles by. Belching fumes. You get a whiff of exhaust up your nose.
We're still on the road from the loop. Is it
From
like
the-
a single
Yeah.
road?
Yeah.
I dropped the thing.
I got it. better than leaving it around with someone unsupervised.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe one day we'll be able to like power this thing up. Maybe if you power it up even more, maybe we'll be able to like interact with stuff through the window or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I gotta go home. I gotta go speak to my dad.
Let us know if you need anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And he just slowly pedals away.
You're driving into the sunset.
Yeah.
And the four of you kind of go into silhouette as you reach the crest of the hill and you duck down the other side, and the sun is setting. It's still reasonably high because we're far north and the sun doesn't really ever go down in the middle of summer that long, so it's a nice warm evening. You cycle down into the valley. The valley itself is in shadow. So the next scene would be, I guess, the last scene for tonight, I would imagine, and it's you, Marty, walking in up to your house,
Yeah.
dumping your bike, and walking into your house.
Yep. Taking a deep breath, pushing the door open and stepping inside, and the door slowly closes behind him, I guess.
Yeah. And your dad's sitting watching telly in the sitting room. And he's got some drink next to him. He's got a whiskey.
Yeah. He's been drinking heavily for a year or so. I go and sit next to him. Dad?
He seems to take a while. He reaches for the remote control, big old silvery thing that he's got with orange buttons on it, and he presses something, the volume of the telly goes down. And he turns round. Marty?
I want you to tell me what happened to Mum. I think I'm old enough now. Only been a year.
He recoils a bit, stiffens, looks down at his lap, reaches for his glass, brings it up. You get a smell of whiskey, strong from
Where did she go?
She was working. You know about some of our work, Marty. Maybe when you're older you'll work at the Loop too. You're a clever kid. What we do there? Oh. Change the world, we can. That's what we can do. Make it better for everybody. That's what we can do. You know that, right? We make it better for everybody. All of us.
What Mrs. Brown said.
Yeah. I need
Didn't make it better for me, Dad.
No. Make it better for me either, Marty. I miss her, you know. I wish she was here. And he just, for the first time, he just stares at you. And you see tears forming in the side of his eyes. And this is the first time you've ever seen him cry. Like, he's never shown this kind of emotion. And he just says, they say that she just went, Marty. She just went. And he's got his eyes fixed on you, and you can see him just like his eyes now, just fully tearing down.
Didn't she love us anymore, Dad?
Oh, Marty, she never stopped loving us. You don't understand, son. She just disappeared. Like, she was there, Marty, and then she wasn't. She didn't leave us, Marty. She didn't leave us. She was taken from us. You have to know that.
And it's probably first time it's happened that Martin hugs his dad.
Yeah.
We're gonna end that there?
Yeah, I think so.
Fade to black. Marty was never seen again.
Infinite,